Hello, everyone, and welcome to a historic day in Quad Radio as we are now broadcasting our first ever video of Quad Radio. And I think we may end up having to change the name, but that's all right. I'm Rodney Tomlin, along tonight with our first ever video edition of Quad Radio is our own kid Dynamite, Joel Hetrick, as we make our way down to the what used to be known as the Maxon Construction Race Team is now known as Phoenix Racing Headquarters in beautiful Salisbury, North Carolina. And we're in the headquarters shop. Joel Hetrick, welcome to Quad Radio. Welcome to North Carolina. And welcome to a new home, brother. I mean, this is awesome. If you can look around behind us, you can see just about a third of the shop behind us right now.
This shop is amazing. I mean, you can see a little bit the 4 race bikes behind us. This place is incredible. I mean, David did an awesome job.
Yeah, he most certainly has. And, and that's one thing that we can say about the sport. We've seen a lot of leap forward in the last couple of years by the team that you are on in itself. I mean, we've seen out of the industry sponsors with Liquid Wrench. We've seen that, I don't know, I think a more concentrated team effort out of the team the last couple of years. And I think this right here brings it all together that much tighter. And with that, the addition of the shop, I mean, there's been a lot of expansion, and we've even got new members on the team this year, it looks like.
Oh, yeah. We got Noah Mickelson, Hayden Mickelson, Grayson Eller, and myself. The 2 boys, Noah and Hayden, they're going to be running. Noah will be running in A-Class and Pro Sport. Hayden will be in the Pro Am and Pro Sport. So, I mean, we got those classes filled with Grayson in 2 A classes and myself in Pro. So we got a stacked team, and we're all here training together. So it's a big deal. I mean, this is what a team needs to be, together training. We got the gym over here. We're testing. We were at the track today testing with Jay Goebel. So it's all coming together.
That's awesome. And if you check out the Quad Radio Facebook page, we're going to have some pictures and stuff up there, and we're going to show some folks the shop and the track and a bunch of different things. So you'll want to check out the Quad Radio Facebook page. But anyway, Joel, I mean, with these big changes and stuff, man, what kind of pressure does that put on you? I mean, you've always been kind of the team leader around here, but now it's really expanding and so much bigger than it has in the past. Is that any extra weight on your shoulders by any chance?
No way. David puts no pressure on me at all. I just go out there and race and have fun, and that's the only goal he has for me is to have fun and go fast.
I know that the off season normally you spend at Pafford's and stuff, and this off season you spend a lot of time there as well. But now here, as we go from the off season to the preseason, you've kind of made a switch yourself, it looks like.
Oh yeah, we rode down at Pafford's. We got there the 1st. I rode about till the 24th. I came down here or up here, and David wanted to do some testing and wanted to check out the shop and get everything dialed in with the team. And I think it's just a better aspect or a better area to be here, and with the team and everyone's here. That Doug with Roll Designs here doing the shocks. Jay Goebel was here today. Doug, Kenny, Alan, all the mechanics are here, so we're all here together, and I think that's better for everyone.
Wow, this has to be, I mean, I wouldn't say it's cutting edge as far as racing is concerned, but for the sport of ATV motocross, this seems to be kind of cutting edge. This is the kind of stuff that we see supercross and motocross teams doing on the 2-wheel side of things, man.
Oh, he always wants to step it up. We're always watching the supercross guys trying to pick up the next, level of training or whatever we can do to, bring it up a little bit for the ATV side.
For sure. Now, while we're still talking about the new shop, and I do want to go and talk about last season and what we've got to look forward to as far as this upcoming season and stuff is concerned. But right now, I mean, looking at the big picture coming in here, was this your first, when you came down here on the 24th, was that your first time ever making your way into the new Phoenix Racing shop?
I was here once before. It wasn't finished. Now we're back, and it's finished. It looks awesome. This place is, like I said, it's incredible. So it's cool to be here, and yeah, I mean, it's second time here, so it's awesome.
So what about this new practice track you guys have got? I understand that you have got a team practice track, and that's where you guys are going to be practicing. I mean, you've got quite a bit of obstacles. I mean, it's a big track, it's a little track, it's all combined together.
Yeah, it's definitely an awesome track. I think Dirtworks did a great job out there. We got the outdoor track to burn some laps on. I think we're going to go out there tomorrow. He has an arena cross track in the center of it, so I mean, probably get on that a little bit before Daytona and get a little supercross training in.
There you go. So I guess the arena cross track is going to serve double duty for you. I mean, you get that timing and stuff, but with Daytona coming up, I mean, you don't want to put too much weight on one race, but at the same time, you want to be able to go out there and perform well the first race out, I think.
Of course, I always go into Daytona and I'm always at just a high speed. I'm going too fast for that track, and like you saw last year, made a little mistake and it cost me big time in the championship race. So it's definitely going to be beneficial to be here on that smaller track, burning laps out there if I can. It looks pretty intense, but I think I'll be able to do a couple laps and get used to it.
I think so. And speaking of last year, let's go back and talk about it. I mean, here we are almost 1 year ago away from that first race at Daytona when, all the cards were out on the table. Looking at the season, you had a plan. You had the races that you knew that you probably could win and ones that would be a little bit of a struggle. You had it all figured out. You had the championship in the bag on paper, man. But that one little incident there at Daytona just kind of really messed things up, I guess, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you can't go into the season with 3 points. It doesn't help. It does not help. I fought all year to gain points, and it was just a battle with me and Chad 1-2 every weekend, and splitting those points, the races, does not gain me any points at all. So we were struggling there for a little bit, pulled a couple 1-1s off, but it still wasn't enough. I think I lost by 8 points. Still really close, and we look back and now I've learned to pace myself at that race and just come out there with shoot a top 5 would be great.
Well, I have to go back and point something out. I think if nothing else, I mean, the one thing that people always said about you, Joel, is that maybe you didn't have patience. Maybe you were a little too eager, over rambunctious sometimes, and I think,
probably right.
And I think that might have been what we've seen, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that might have been what we've seen at Daytona. But at the same time, with that being what we've seen and saw, we also may have saw a big lesson learned for Joel, because the rest of the season it didn't seem you were riding as haphazardly.
No, I definitely had to calm myself down and pace myself throughout the race, think about stuff a little more cautiously. The knee was still hurting pretty bad the first 3 or 4 rounds, so it definitely, shook me up, and I learned a big lesson. And, I'm going in there this year with a goal of getting top 3, not going out there in my head, I need to win the race. I don't need to win the race. Like David always says, you don't need to win qualifying. You don't need to worry about qualifying. You just got to go have fun, and the race will come to you. And, I worried about that race all day. We had problems in the heat race with Natalie, and made a little contact there, and I was just struggling all day with the bike in the morning and qualifying. So I was just flustered, and it showed in the race. I tried to go for something. I saw Chad pulling a gap, and I just had to go, and that was not the right time to go. And you saw the end result. Definitely learned a big lesson from that, and going to not do that again.
Well, let's go a race or two ahead. Obviously, Texas, you were still on the mend, and that was obviously you were playing a big waiting game there. You had to, obviously, because of the injury and stuff, but I think that might have taught you something there. I mean, the lesson learned, obviously, and then I think that was backed up with the way you were able to perform in Texas last year at the second round.
Yeah, Texas was I was super happy, and I can't remember if I got second or third. I'm pretty sure I got second. But either way, it was a great race for me. I was pumped that I finished and I didn't freak out in the mud and try too hard, make a mistake and wad it up or lose the race just from being too eager to go fast and get up front. I just relaxed, and it came to me, and I followed some guys for a while. They made some mistakes, and I just kept my line, kept my head straight, and got on the podium the second race after the injury. So it was pretty awesome.
One thing that we probably haven't talked a lot about, a couple of races after that, probably midway through the season, things were starting to heat up between you and Chad. And when we were in Alabama at Monster Mountain for the very first time, that was probably, I wouldn't call that a controversial race, but probably one of the most heated races between you guys. It seemed like a lot of aggression by both of you guys were out there, and I mean, the racing was great. I loved it. Talk a little bit about that day and what that did and what mindset that gave you for the rest of the season.
That was a tough day. I knew I was faster that day. My hole shots weren't amazing, so I had to come through the pack. I think third or fourth were both hole shots, so I was coming through. I was passing people, and I I knew I was faster. I kept taking the same line on the inside of him, and it was the only opportunity I had to make a pass, and we made contact, and I kind of spun him out, and he caught and flipped up, and that was the first 1-1 I got right there doing that move. And it was kind of I don't know, some people said it was dirty. I don't really think it was dirty. I just think it was a racing incident that led him to tip over, and he came off the bike. He was not hurt or anything, so we talked about it. We were okay after that. There's still some tension, I'm sure, but that's racing. It's a championship race, and it's happened to all of us.
Now, I guess another question to follow that up is, now, did that change the approach any other time? Were you any less aggressive the rest of the year because you didn't want to end up in a situation like that? Maybe you didn't push it as hard as you possibly could have?
Yeah, I think definitely. I didn't want to have that incident happen again. No one wants to take a guy out and see him on the ground, so I was kind of more cautious of my moves, and I think he was not wanting to get me back because he really never came for revenge. I mean, we had a good rest of the season. We were talking, we were racing good, hard, and nothing really happened bad after that. So I'm thinking that we're all good and clear, and 2017 is going to be a new year, so we'll start it off clean.
That's it, and I like that attitude, and it was good racing, and I'll go back to it. I'll say it was a racing incident, and I like that you guys were able to talk it out and hash it out, and obviously everybody, there's a different side to each story, so I'm sure he feels about it the way he feels about it. You feel about it the way you do, but it is a racing incident, and it made for good stories. It made for good hype. It made for a good rest of the season, I think. And like you say, I think it's got to set up for another season coming up. But, we keep talking about the Chad and the Joel show, but we got to take into account, man, there's other guys that are coming pretty hard, pretty fast right now.
Yeah, I mean, Rastrelli's training his butt off. I see him on Instagram posting videos, and, all these guys are working hard. I rode with Thomas a little bit at Pafford's house probably, 3 weeks ago or so, and, he was looking good out there. Everyone's working hard, just like they do every year, just trying to get that edge and, come out swinging at Daytona. But for me, I don't want to come out swinging at Daytona because every time I say that, something happens. So I'm just going to go in there and just race. That's the plan.
So not making any big claims, taking any big claims?
No, I'm not going to be saying, hey, I'm going to go win Daytona by 10 seconds. No way. I just want to finish Daytona and not be riding on the side of the track on a stretcher. So that's the plan. That's
a very good plan, and I think that everybody probably involved is thankful that's the plan.
You can see all these guys shaking their head. Yeah. Okay, do that.
That's cool. Now we talked about the changes that are obviously from last year with your team, but there's changes all throughout the entire ATV ranks, I think, amateur and pro. We mentioned Jeffrey Rastrelli. Another name that I think that we can mention that might be one of those unknown variables right now, making a switch to a Honda, Nick Janusa.
Oh, yeah. Pro Challenge, let's say that. He was on a Honda there, pulled 2 starts behind me, and I'm pretty sure he got second both motos. So, those starts are going to be a big thing for the 2017 season for him, at least. I know the Honda start really well. You're probably going to see him up front a lot, and that's going to help with, if someone gets out front and he's in the mix, and it's going to be tough. I mean, there's going to be a lot more racers up there to deal with now, and I think that's what we need to break up this little points battle we always have with 1-2.
Right, and with Thomas Brown, if everything's healthy and going for him, I know he's got a big program change this year, but he's still a lot of the same program and everything that he's ran in the past. So if he can get it back together, there's another name to throw in there.
Yep. I think Thomas for sure he's always a hard worker, and it looked like he was riding great at Pafford. So I'm pretty sure we'll see him up on some podiums for sure. It's going to be stacked this year. I mean, Rastrelli's working hard. Brown, Janusa, Higgerson's down south. There's just a lot of guys that want this podium spot, and everyone's trying as hard as they can to get it.
And another couple names to mention right now, Josh Upperman. And,
of course, yep.
And one that I really haven't heard a whole lot about. Maybe you have through the grapevine, but John Natale. I mean, I know that John has had a rough couple last seasons or so, but I really haven't heard what his plans are next year.
Neither have I, really. I haven't heard much from John. I talked to him a good amount at the Pro Challenge, and we just, talked about not racing really. I mean, we're just everything but racing. Building the house, stuff like that, the track. We were just conversing about that stuff, not really anything with the team or whatever he's doing. So yeah, I'm in the dark too with that.
Well, hopefully we'll all have some light shed on that pretty soon. But one subject matter that we do have light shed on, and one rider that was in the mix of things last year that won't be there next year and was a big part of your team, Davey Hogsma. I know that we made the announcement in Sight Lab. I'd written about it on the atvmotocross.com website earlier in the off season, and that's what really I think opened the door for a lot of changes. I know there was some expansion in the team, but that was some of the changes. Let's talk a little bit about Davey. What exactly happened with Davey?
Davey went out west to focus more on his side-by-side career out there. There's no hard feelings with him going out there. He wanted to do his thing out there, and
that's where he raced. That's where all these championships and stuff came from.
Yeah, he has a lot of championships out there. I think it was a big movement coming back and forth from California that had to get old. I mean, definitely for me, I hate flying, so it would definitely get old doing that. I think he's focusing more on his side-by-sides out there, and it looks like he's having some fun with his GTRs and all of his fast race cars he got going on. So he's got a good deal going out there, and that left a spot open on the team for Noah Mickelson, which he'll be in the Pro Sport and A class, like I said.
Yeah, let's break this down. I think we talked about this beforehand. Let's break it down one more time just for everybody. The team consists of you, Noah Mickelson, Hayden Mickelson, and Grayson Eller.
Yes.
You are the lead guy in the AMA Pro ATV class, and then Hayden will be running the
Pro Am and Pro Sport.
Okay, and then Noah will be running.
He's going to do Pro Sport and an A class.
And then Grayson will be
2 A classes.
2 A classes.
Yep.
So I mean, this is pretty elite, man. I mean that sounds pretty cool, man.
It does. I mean, that's the highest ranked classes, and we're in all of them. So you're going to see a lot of podiums, a lot of wins, and we're working hard out here. So I think it's a good team. Everyone gets along very well. Me and the kids just went riding today, so it's great. I've always got along with all the boys, and it's just a fun aspect. I think everyone's going to have a good time, and we're just out there to have fun and do what we can. We're all talented riders, and I think you'll see that.
Absolutely. And I do have one other question before I let you go right here. A big change. Is there something that folks might be expecting to see at the racetrack even?
I think keep your eyes open for the Maxxis Liquid Wrench Elka Honda pit spot, because let's just say you might be a little mind blown. It's we got room for 4, let's say that.
Yeah. Oh, so that means things have grown a little bit, huh?
A little bit.
Well, all right, Joel. Is there? Let me see. I'm going to look at my notes here real quick. But is there anything else that you can think of that you might want to pass along to the ATV Racing Nation? I know that it's been kind of quiet around the racing world since our last race at. I guess the Edge of Summer motocross event itself. So anything that you might want to pass along that happened over the winter that we may be able to look forward to or anything like that?
I mean, the only thing really happening with me is I bought some land, put a track on it. You'll probably see a ton of videos of me riding out there, and I'll be down here in North Carolina doing some riding, testing with David and the team, and it's just everything's coming together really well. I'm glad to be here. I have a ton of support from these guys. The whole, all the mechanics, Doug, Jay, Kenny, Alan, my mechanic, Brandon Lauer. Got that bike right there. That's my race bike. Looking amazing. So I'm just super pumped, trying to stay calm. I'm itching to race, and I'm looking forward to it.
And not thinking about the wedding coming up in September, huh?
I'm thinking about that. There's a lot of stuff I'm thinking about. We're starting the house in March. The wedding's in September. And I'm pretty sure you're going to be there doing the
officiating the ceremonies. That'll be awesome.
So, there's a lot of big stuff going on in 17 for us, and I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, there's a good chance of the championship going for me too. All
right, we'll be looking forward to that. That's for sure. Joel, any thanks or anything? Anybody in particular that you need to send particular thanks out to? Anybody, any chance?
I want to thank David Eller for making this all happen for the whole team and everyone. Doug, Jay, Rod, Alan, my mom, Brandon Lauer, Jonathan Parrish, Greg Pafford for letting me come down there for a little bit and train. my buddy Brandon for driving me all around and washing my stuff and getting me where I need to be. Carly for, everything she does, making food, training with me. Typical stuff with her, but, it's everyone helps, and it takes some stress off me to have all these guys around.
That's awesome. That's Joel Hetrick. I'm Rodney Tomlin. This is the new Video Quad Radio.